The arrival of a modern calendar cycle frequently triggers the sensation of a pristine beginning, resembling a void canvas awaiting the inscription of fresh possibilities. Nevertheless, one must reflect on how frequently these January intentions dissolve into insignificance as the seasons transition, leaving us with the hollow reassurance that this particular cycle will deviate from the past. Absent a transparent strategy, the passage of time merely becomes another sequence of abandoned commitments. While countless individuals establish grand aspirations with the firm resolve to undergo a total transformation, the actual percentage of those who persevere until the conclusion remains remarkably low. This failure typically stems from an initial burst of enthusiasm that lacks the necessary foundation of a precise methodology, causing eventual victory to remain a distant and retreating mirage. Although the inception of the year offers a genuine chance for renewal, it is remarkably simple to become submerged in the fleeting thrill of a new start, only to witness that energy vanish as ancient behaviors reclaim their territory. Genuine achievement is never a product of random chance or sudden luck. Rather, it is constructed through the accumulation of minor, rhythmic efforts performed every single day within a highly organized framework designed to navigate the complexities of the path ahead. Consequently, I have developed this comprehensive year-long strategic blueprint specifically for your journey, serving as a cohesive guide to ensure you remain steadfast in attaining every milestone you envision. This specific architecture for an unrivaled 2026 does not demand radical or overwhelming shifts in your existence all at once, but instead emphasizes the power of gradual and persistent advancement. It focuses on seizing total authority over your daily routine, ensuring that every 24-hour period serves as a foundational block for a legacy you can hold in high regard. Our collaboration will span 8 distinct phases, each meticulously crafted to establish the groundwork for enduring triumph. We shall explore the creation of a tactical roadmap, the cultivation of a dominant psychological perspective, and the installation of constructive patterns while simultaneously refining your emotional intelligence and maximizing your operational efficiency. Through this process, you will recognize that true victory is not a final destination on a map but a continuous voyage defined by unwavering dedication. You will acquire the skills to partition your ultimate objectives into tiny, executable fragments, gaining the necessary instruments to maintain momentum even when the environment becomes hostile. The reality is that peak performance does not require innate brilliance. It merely demands a structured design, the inner strength to remain loyal to that design, and the tenacity to recover from setbacks. There is no reason to postpone your progress while waiting for an ideal scenario, as the foundation of your legendary year is laid at this very moment, allowing us to claim 2026 through a systematic and deliberate evolution. Furthermore, the initial phase of constructing this success architecture involves recognizing that entering a new cycle without a defined trajectory is comparable to navigating a vast wilderness without any navigational tools. One may possess the most noble of intentions, yet without a specific orientation, the likelihood of becoming disoriented is nearly certain. Many individuals dive into the new year with intense fervor, only to find themselves repeating the same circular patterns that lead them back to their original starting point. To truly revolutionize your experience in 2026, you must possess a specialized operational manual that is both detailed and capable of being executed in small, manageable increments. The fundamental significance of this preparation cannot be overstated, as a rigorous plan functions as your primary navigational system, keeping your efforts aligned even when unexpected hurdles attempt to block your progress. Without this structural integrity, an individual is like a vessel drifting upon the ocean without a mechanism for steering, completely at the mercy of shifting winds and unpredictable tides. This lack of direction explains why so many people fail to uphold their initial promises, as they often rely on ambiguous and unrealistic desires that lack the necessary discipline or commitment. For instance, a vague aspiration to improve physical fitness lacks the granular detail required for actualization, leaving questions about the specific metrics and daily actions unanswered. Without these vital components, the objective remains an abstract thought rather than a tangible reality. In this opening segment, our primary concentration will be the formulation of a sturdy and practical game plan that prepares you for consistent winning. This involves the identification of precise and quantifiable targets, which are then dismantled into minor assignments that you must pledge to complete with daily regularity. The very first movement in this strategic dance is the definition of objectives that can be accurately tracked, as broad statements regarding health or wealth offer no real guidance for your daily behavior. By shifting your focus toward a specific target, such as reaching a particular weight milestone by a fixed date, you create a visible mark to hit and a way to monitor your evolution. To ensure your objectives are truly effective, they should adhere to a specific framework where they are clearly defined, easily measured, and realistically attainable within your current life circumstances. Moreover, these goals must resonate deeply with your personal principles and long-term vision, while being constrained by a specific timeframe to foster a healthy sense of urgency. By adopting this methodical approach to your ambitions, you provide yourself with a transparent path to follow, which significantly enhances your internal drive as you witness the steady accumulation of your successes. Hence, we find that by transforming vague dreams into a structured series of events, the journey toward your ultimate vision becomes not only visible but inevitable through the power of organized persistence. Once you have established your primary objective, the subsequent phase involves deconstructing that vision into minor, executable assignments. If your ultimate ambition is to reduce your physical mass by 20 pounds within the calendar year, you cannot expect this transformation to occur instantly. Instead, it demands rhythmic exertion and small daily movements. You might begin by dividing the total weight into monthly targets of roughly 2 pounds, further distilling that into a weekly aim of half a pound. These broader goals are then supported by immediate actions, such as maintaining a balanced nutritional intake, engaging in 30 minutes of physical activity, and documenting your daily consumption. By partitioning a massive goal into these digestible fragments, you illuminate a transparent path forward. Every small task you conclude serves as a progression toward your final destination, fostering a sense of fulfillment that maintains your psychological momentum and sharpens your concentration. Furthermore, the secret to actualizing these ambitions lies in the architecture of a daily routine that reinforces your path. It is insufficient to merely state a desire for better organization or health. These aspirations must be woven into the fabric of your existence through habits that propel you toward victory. A successful daily structure should remain uncomplicated, sustainable, and unwavering. Start with fundamental pillars, such as rising at a consistent hour, consuming nutrient-dense fuel, and dedicating specific windows to physical movement. Integrating activities that resonate with your long-term vision, whether that involves deep reading, exercise, or advancing a creative venture, makes staying on course feel natural rather than forced. You do not need to introduce unnecessary complexity. Instead, focus on a handful of high-impact behaviors that bridge the gap between your current state and your desired future. Over time, these repeated actions accumulate, ensuring you remain aligned with your trajectory. Whereas the plan provides the map, accountability acts as the engine that keeps you moving. It is remarkably easy to allow your standards to slip when there is no internal or external oversight. By establishing a robust system of tracking, perhaps through a digital application or a physical ledger, you maintain a constant awareness of your position relative to your goal. Engaging a trusted peer, a mentor, or a professional guide to monitor your progress can provide the necessary external encouragement to persevere. Another effective strategy involves the implementation of a reward and consequence system. For instance, successfully meeting a weekly milestone might earn you a small indulgence, while falling short could result in a temporary restriction on leisure time or an added physical challenge. These minor incentives serve to keep your focus locked on the target. Hence, we find that while a structured strategy is vital, one must remain intellectually agile. Life rarely adheres to a perfect script, and you will undoubtedly encounter unforeseen complications. The objective is to recalibrate your approach without abandoning the mission entirely. If a particular method proves ineffective or if your circumstances shift, do not hesitate to modify your tactics. The most successful visionaries and leaders are distinguished by their capacity to adapt to fluctuating environments, while continuing to exert forward pressure regardless of the hurdles they encounter. Transitioning to the psychological foundation. The second chapter delves into the cultivation of a dominant psychological perspective. You could possess the most sophisticated strategies in existence, yet without the appropriate mindset, even the most meticulous blueprints will fail to produce results. Your internal outlook dictates your reaction to adversity, your management of disappointment, and your capacity to endure when reality deviates from your expectations. Developing this mental framework is as critical as the tactical plan itself, as it serves as the bedrock upon which all future achievements are built. Your mindset is the primary filter through which you interpret the world, influencing how you engage with every situation and individual you meet. A triumphant perspective allows you to identify potential growth where others perceive only barriers, enabling you to remain fixated on your objectives despite temporary setbacks. Within this realm, we distinguish between two primary orientations, the static mindset and the evolving mindset. Those who operate from a static position believe their intelligence and talents are unchangeable qualities. Consequently, if they do not achieve immediate mastery, they often conclude they lack the inherent ability, leading to a profound fear of error and a tendency to retreat when challenged. In stark contrast, individuals possessing an evolving mindset understand that their capabilities can be expanded through dedicated labor and persistence. They view a lack of immediate success not as a final judgment, but as an inherent component of the educational journey. This perspective nurtures an appetite for learning and a relentless drive to improve. It is important to remember that your mental orientation is not a biological destiny. It is a choice you can cultivate to unlock your latent potential. A vital component of this mental fortitude is resilience, the capacity to recover from disappointment. In any ambitious life, failure is not a possibility but a certainty. The defining factor is whether you allow these moments to paralyze your progress or fuel your evolution. Those with a static outlook view a setback as a personal deficiency, whereas those with an evolving mindset see it as a temporary obstacle and a valuable lesson. They recognize that failing at a task does not equate to being a failure as a person. In our upcoming exploration, we will investigate how to strengthen this resilience and reframe your interpretation of struggle. By accepting that difficulty is a fundamental element of growth, you can move beyond the fear of the unknown and begin extracting wisdom from every experience. One of the most influential methods for altering your mental trajectory is the intentional modification of your internal monologue. The specific way you address yourself possesses an immense impact on your emotional state and your overall performance. Engaging in defeatist internal speech, such as telling yourself that a task is impossible or that your skills are insufficient, only serves to validate the false idea that you are powerless. A dominant psychological framework begins with a constructive inner narrative, where you deliberately pivot from contemplating limitations to identifying possibilities. For instance, rather than dwelling on the perceived difficulty of a physical transformation, you should reinforce the idea that you are fully capable of making beneficial decisions every single day. This subtle shift in your cognitive habits can radically enhance your drive and your resolve. Furthermore, you can utilize structured affirmations to solidify this new perspective. These are positive, present-tense declarations that anchor your aspirations and convictions. Regularly stating that you possess the competence to reach your milestones or the endurance to overcome obstacles helps to recalibrate your self-image and strengthens your confidence. Confidence, however, is not derived solely from optimistic thinking. It is a byproduct of consistent movement. Every minor advancement you make toward your objectives serves to bolster your self-assurance and reinforces the truth that you can succeed. True self-belief is forged through the act of doing rather than mere contemplation. To cultivate a superior mindset, you must execute rhythmic, manageable actions toward your vision. These efforts do not need to be monumental. They simply require unwavering regularity. Each time you complete a task, you provide yourself with empirical evidence of your progress, regardless of how modest the step might appear. If you aim to enhance your vitality, begin with a brief daily window of activity. As you consistently fulfill this commitment, you will experience a growing sense of achievement that fuels your momentum. The more you act, the more certain you become of your capabilities, which is precisely how enduring success is constructed. Furthermore, the capacity to maintain a sharp focus is a cornerstone of a victorious mindset, especially in an era where digital interruptions are constant. Staying aligned with your primary objectives can be difficult when surrounded by a sea of notifications and social media alerts, yet it remains vital for your evolution. To protect your vision, you must actively eliminate distractions and concentrate on the elements that truly move the needle. This level of clarity is achieved by establishing precise targets and dismantling them into executable steps, which makes it far easier to remain centered. By designing a daily routine that prioritizes your goals and minimizes interference, such as designating specific hours for deep work and silencing device alerts, you create an environment conducive to achievement. The more concentrated your efforts become, the more effortless it will be to sustain your motivation throughout the entire year. Whereas many individuals attempt to avoid difficulty, a winning perspective actively embraces challenges as the primary catalyst for growth. Retreating from obstacles due to a fear of failure only results in missed opportunities for self-improvement. Instead of viewing a hard task as a threat, you should interpret it as a chance to refine your expertise and strengthen your character. When you encounter a hurdle, rather than backing away, you should ask what specific wisdom can be extracted from the situation. Leaning into these moments transforms them into stepping stones toward a higher level of mastery. Cultivating this growth-oriented mindset, refining your internal dialogue, and maintaining consistent action will provide the psychological foundation necessary for an unstoppable 2026. The architecture of lasting behavior. Hence, we find that habits represent the fundamental infrastructure of everything you accomplish. Your future is not dictated by sudden, dramatic shifts, but by the rhythmic actions you perform every single day. This third chapter explores the systematic process of constructing positive behaviors that will anchor your success. The secret to creating permanent change is the realization that habits are not forged in an instant. They are the result of repeated efforts over an extended duration. While the prospect of overriding ancient patterns may seem daunting, it is entirely achievable when you apply a strategic methodology based on the science of behavior. Understanding the mechanics of habit formation is the essential first step toward total self-mastery. Habits are essentially automated responses triggered by specific environmental cues. When you repeat a behavior in response to a particular signal, your brain develops a neural pathway that makes that action increasingly easy to perform in the future. This is why established habits feel so effortless. They have become physically integrated into your cognitive architecture. To engineer new, beneficial behaviors, you must understand the three-part cycle known as the habit loop. This consists of the trigger that initiates the thought, the actual routine or action you perform, and the subsequent reward that reinforces the behavior. For example, if you wish to integrate more movement into your life, your trigger might be a specific time of day, the routine is the physical exertion itself, and the reward is the immediate surge of endorphins or the long-term improvement in your health. By repeating this cycle with small, manageable starts, you gradually strengthen the neural connections until the behavior becomes your natural state of being. A primary reason many individuals struggle to solidify new behaviors is the tendency to overextend themselves too early. If you establish a target to engage in intense physical exertion for an hour every single day, the sheer magnitude of that pressure often leads to exhaustion and eventual abandonment. Instead, the most effective strategy is to initiate your progress through a singular, uncomplicated habit, achieving total mastery of that one element before introducing further complexity. Consider the objective of increasing your hydration. Rather than attempting to consume 2 liters of water immediately, start by adding just 1 additional glass to your daily intake. Once this minor shift becomes an integrated part of your routine, you can incrementally scale the volume until you reach your ultimate goal. Furthermore, it is highly beneficial to anchor your new behavior to an existing ritual. For example, if you wish to cultivate a meditation practice, perform it immediately following your morning coffee. By tethering a new action to an established pattern, you significantly reduce the cognitive effort required to remember and execute it. Consistency remains the hidden catalyst that transforms a modest effort into an enduring lifestyle change. The regularity of your engagement is far more critical than the intensity of the effort. It is superior to perform a brief action daily than a massive effort sporadically. Fitness is not built in a single marathon session once a week, but through 20 minutes of rhythmic daily movement. In the beginning, these repetitions might feel like a conscious struggle, yet as the neural pathways strengthen, the behavior becomes an automated reflex. To maintain this momentum, Utilizing a visual tracking system, such as a physical calendar or a digital interface, can provide a powerful psychological boost. Seeing your progress documented visually reinforces your commitment and provides the necessary motivation to protect your streak. However, the path to habit formation is rarely a linear ascent. You will inevitably encounter days where you bypass a workout or forget a specific task. The defining factor during these moments is your resilience. Missing a single day does not constitute a failure, but rather a temporary detour. It is essential to practice self-compassion and focus on returning to your structure as quickly as possible, prioritizing progress over the illusion of perfection. Furthermore, since internal motivation is notoriously unreliable and fluctuates with your mood, you must learn to lean on the pillars of discipline and habit. Even on days when the desire to act is absent, pushing through the resistance strengthens your resolve and solidifies the behavior. Once a habit is successfully performed, reinforcing it with a positive reward, such as a relaxing ritual or a moment of leisure, creates a neurological association that encourages the brain to repeat the cycle. Sharing these victories with an accountability partner can further cement your dedication, as the support of a peer makes the journey toward a successful 2026 far more sustainable. Emotional governance and inner mastery. Hence, we find that our internal emotional landscape serves as the ultimate driver of our external outcomes. While a full spectrum of feelings is an inherent part of the human experience, your success in the coming year depends entirely on how you navigate these internal states. This fourth chapter focuses on the transition from being a passenger to becoming the commander of your emotional world. Mastering your emotions is not an act of suppression or denial. Rather, it is the sophisticated process of understanding, processing, and channeling your internal energy into productive avenues. When you achieve this level of self-regulation, your actions are no longer dictated by fleeting impulses, but are instead guided by logic, clarity, and your long-term vision. The initial movement toward emotional mastery is the cultivation of heightened awareness. Many people exist in a state of reactive autopilot, responding to environmental stressors without understanding the underlying source of their agitation. This lack of introspection often results in impulsive choices or emotional outbursts that hinder professional and personal growth. By consciously identifying your emotions as they surface, you can begin to decode their origins. You might ask yourself whether your current anxiety is rooted in a fear of inadequacy or a genuine lack of preparation. Recognizing whether frustration stems from a loss of control or unrealistic expectations allows you to detach from the immediate feeling. This clarity provides the vital space needed to choose a conscious response rather than a reflexive reaction, ensuring that your behavior remains aligned with the person you intend to become. Achieving command over your internal landscape is a gradual refinement of character rather than an instantaneous transformation. It is a sophisticated skill that demands deliberate application, yet by employing specific tactical maneuvers, you can begin to navigate your feelings with far greater precision. When you sense a surge of internal agitation, the most immediate remedy is to implement a strategic pause combined with deep, rhythmic respiration. This elementary physical intervention serves to recalibrate your nervous system, granting you the necessary silence to evaluate the situation before offering a response. Such a deliberate hesitation prevents the fallout of unrefined emotional outbursts, allowing you to select a path of rationality and composure. Furthermore, since our cognitive interpretations directly dictate our emotional states, you must actively reframe any descent into defeatist thinking. Instead of entertaining the notion of inevitable failure, you should interpret difficult circumstances as opportunities for significant personal expansion. By intentionally shifting your mental architecture, you fundamentally alter your emotional trajectory and your subsequent behavior. Mindfulness and meditative practices further enhance this ability by allowing you to observe your internal states with objective detachment. Through these disciplines, you learn to acknowledge the presence of an emotion without allowing it to seize the controls of your conduct. This practice of non-judgmental observation fosters a deep-seated resilience, strengthening your capacity to remain centered even during the most turbulent events. Additionally, the simple act of labeling your experience, stating clearly that you are currently feeling a specific sensation like anxiety, reduces the raw intensity of the feeling. This linguistic categorization creates a healthy distance between your core self and the fleeting emotion, enabling you to address the root cause with clinical objectivity. Should a negative state persist, a conscious redirection of your attention toward a productive task or a feeling of gratitude can interrupt the destructive cycle, replacing it with a more constructive frequency. However, mastering your internal world also involves the strategic utilization of positive energy as a catalyst for your ambitions. High-frequency emotions such as passion and enthusiasm should be harnessed to provide the kinetic energy required to pursue your 2026 objectives. When you experience a surge of excitement, use that momentum to immerse yourself fully in your current project. When you feel justified pride in your progress, allow that satisfaction to propel you toward the next milestone. Recognizing when your internal state is working in your favor allows you to leverage these moments for maximum impact. True emotional resilience is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to confront challenges head-on and return to a state of clarity with renewed vigor. This mastery ensures that you remain the architect of your destiny, making decisions based on your long-term legacy rather than temporary discomfort. The science of peak performance and efficiency. Hence, we find that the capacity to execute tasks with high precision and speed is a vital pillar of your upcoming success. True productivity in 2026 is not measured by the sheer volume of labor, but by the intelligence of your approach. This fifth chapter examines the optimization of your output, focusing on the elimination of distractions and the concentration of your energy on the vital few tasks that truly advance your vision. Many individuals fall victim to the productivity paradox, where a state of constant activity is mistaken for genuine progress. In a world characterized by infinite responsibilities and noise, being busy is often a distraction from being effective. The secret is to prioritize meaningful impact over a crowded schedule, systematically removing any obligations that do not serve your ultimate trajectory. A common error in the pursuit of efficiency is the over-reliance on time management, which treats hours as the only variable. In reality, energy management is the far more critical component of peak performance. Time is a rigid, finite resource, whereas energy is a dynamic asset that dictates the quality of your work. Attempting to force your way through complex problems when your mental reserves are depleted only leads to inferior results and prolonged frustration. To truly optimize your day, you must identify your personal peak energy windows and align your most intellectually demanding assignments with those periods of maximum focus. Whether you are energized by the early morning light or find your clarity in the stillness of the night, your schedule should be an intentional reflection of your biological rhythms. Furthermore, the art of prioritization is essential, as not all responsibilities carry equal weight. When faced with an overwhelming list of tasks, one can easily lose sight of the primary mission. A highly effective method for restoring order is the application of the Eisenhower matrix, which allows you to categorize your obligations based on their urgency and importance. By distinguishing between what requires immediate attention and what contributes to your long-term goals, you ensure that your efforts are never wasted on the trivial. This strategic sorting allows you to focus your primary intensity on the urgent and important quadrant, while planning or delegating other tasks. Through this disciplined approach to your energy and focus, you transform your daily routine into a high-performance engine capable of driving you toward your most ambitious targets with unerring accuracy. The second category of the matrix focuses on tasks that are significant but lack immediate urgency. These often involve long-term developmental projects that carry the potential for the most profound life impact. Conversely, the third quadrant involves activities that demand quick attention but do not necessarily advance your enduring ambitions. These are typically external interruptions. Finally, the fourth quadrant consists of low-impact behaviors that offer no value and should be systematically eliminated. By concentrating your primary intensity on the first two sectors, you ensure your labor yields high-impact results. Minimizing time spent in the latter quadrants is essential, as they deplete your cognitive reserves without offering a meaningful return on your investment. To facilitate this level of concentration, the Pomodoro technique serves as a highly effective instrument for sustained focus. This time management strategy encourages deep work by partitioning tasks into 25-minute intervals of total immersion, followed by a brief restorative pause. This rhythm preserves your mental stamina while preventing the onset of fatigue. To implement this, select a singular objective and work with unwavering dedication until the timer signals a 5-minute rest. After completing 4 such cycles, indulge in a more substantial break of 15 to 30 minutes. This method allows you to dismantle massive projects into approachable segments, ensuring you remain productive without feeling overextended. Furthermore, the modern landscape is saturated with productivity inhibitors. Digital alerts, electronic correspondence, and social media notifications represent constant threats to your efficiency. Every instance of distraction requires significant mental energy to refocus, which ultimately degrades your total output. To optimize your performance, you must proactively identify and neutralize these disruptions. Implementing strategies such as silencing device notifications, utilizing focus-enhancing applications, and establishing firm boundaries with others regarding your deep work hours will create a sanctuary for your concentration. An organized, clutter-free environment further reduces psychological stress and supports a clear, creative state of mind. By designing a workspace that incorporates motivational cues and high-quality tools, you transform your physical surroundings into a catalyst for success. Whereas intense effort is necessary, true optimization also requires a commitment to rest and recovery. Sustained productivity is impossible without prioritizing the health of your mind and body. Neglecting sleep, physical movement, and relaxation eventually results in burnout and diminished cognitive performance. Regular intervals of rest throughout the day refresh your perspective and maintain your sharpness. It is vital to recognize that taking time to recharge, whether through a brief pause or a full day of disconnection, is not a sign of weakness but a strategic necessity. When you grant your system the recovery it requires, you return to your objectives with a renewed vitality that makes your subsequent efforts far more potent. The philosophy of perpetual growth. Hence we find that enduring achievement is not the result of reaching a static state of knowledge, but of maintaining an unwavering commitment to personal evolution. In a world characterized by rapid transformation, the most successful individuals are those who embrace the identity of a lifelong student. This 6th chapter examines the power of continuous learning as a fundamental driver of your 2026 success. Stagnation in a shifting environment is the equivalent of falling behind. Therefore, staying relevant requires an active pursuit of new expertise and an adaptability to emerging trends. Fortunately, the democratization of information means that growth is accessible to anyone with the discipline to seek it. Adopting a lifelong approach to education offers benefits that extend far beyond professional advancement. It serves as a powerful booster for self-assurance, as each new skill acquired makes you feel more equipped to navigate complex challenges. Furthermore, a commitment to learning fosters a high degree of intellectual flexibility, which is crucial for thriving in novel or difficult situations. This perpetual growth also refines your problem-solving capabilities, allowing you to address obstacles with creative and effective solutions. Ultimately, the more you expand your intellectual horizons, the more competitive and resilient you become in every facet of your life. The primary engine of this journey is curiosity, a psychological orientation that encourages the active seeking of understanding. Curiosity ensures you remain engaged with the world, transforming every new encounter into a potential lesson. This is not a fixed trait, but a habit that can be cultivated by intentionally questioning your surroundings and remaining open to diverse perspectives. To integrate this into your daily life, you should make it a practice to ask deeper questions about unfamiliar topics, seeking to explore the why and how behind the information you receive. By dedicating even small, consistent windows of time each day to learning, you ensure that self-improvement becomes an automated part of your daily rhythm, keeping you on a perpetual upward trajectory. Integrating education into the fabric of your daily existence can be achieved through several accessible methods. Engaging with written material remains one of the most potent strategies for intellectual expansion. Hence, you should establish a ritual of daily reading, perhaps during the quietude of your morning or the moments preceding sleep. Furthermore, digital platforms now offer a vast repository of specialized courses that allow you to acquire new languages or professional competencies according to your own timeline. For those managing a demanding schedule, the utilization of educational audio content during a commute or while performing routine chores provides a seamless way to absorb information. It is equally vital to immerse yourself in a social circle that prioritizes growth, as participating in challenging dialogues and intellectual debates can radically sharpen your perspective. By establishing specific, measurable objectives, such as concluding one volume of literature each month, you maintain a sense of accountability that keeps your progress visible. One of the most profound pedagogical tools at your disposal is the experience of failure. While many perceive a setback as something to be shunned, it actually represents an indispensable component of the maturation process. Each moment of disappointment offers a unique opportunity to conduct a clinical analysis of what deviated from the plan, allowing you to refine your strategy and prevent future errors. Shifting your perspective to view failure as a necessary stepping stone rather than a terminal point is essential for enduring success. To support this habit, you should design a physical environment that honors your commitment to learning. This might involve dedicating a specific area of your home for quiet study and ensuring that this sanctuary remains free from the intrusion of digital distractions. Joining specialized communities or intellectual forums can also provide the external motivation and engagement necessary to sustain your momentum throughout the year. The architecture of interpersonal connectivity. Hence, we find that monumental success is rarely the product of a solitary effort. Whether in the realm of commerce, personal development, or professional advancement, the quality of the bonds you cultivate serves as a decisive factor in your trajectory. This 7th chapter investigates the necessity of building robust, supportive relationships as a cornerstone for your 2026 journey. At the center of every significant achievement lies a network that provides the essential counsel, feedback, and encouragement required to navigate complex obstacles. Surrounding yourself with individuals who inspire and challenge you is not merely a social luxury but a strategic requirement, as these connections offer the emotional and social stability needed to endure hardships and honor victories. Those who possess strong interpersonal foundations generally report higher levels of well-being and a greater capacity for resilience. Furthermore, the art of networking should be understood as the cultivation of authentic human connections rather than a mere exchange of contact information. Genuine networking involves a long-term investment in others, characterized by a spirit of generosity rather than transactional gain. By offering value, whether through expert advice, timely introductions, or genuine support, you foster an ecosystem of trust and goodwill that yields significant long-term benefits. These durable connections are founded upon the pillars of reliability, honesty, and consistency. To earn the trust of your peers, you must remain steadfast in your commitments and transparent in your intentions. Respect is equally vital, requiring you to actively acknowledge the worth of others and treat their perspectives with fairness and empathy. Whereas trust provides the foundation, effective communication serves as the primary mechanism for maintaining strong relationships. True communication ensures that all parties feel recognized and understood, which is essential for collaborative success. A critical element of this process is active listening, which goes beyond the mere hearing of words to include the comprehension of the underlying emotions and concerns of the speaker. By demonstrating that you truly value the input of others, you strengthen the bond of mutual respect. Furthermore, it is important to articulate your own thoughts and feelings with both honesty and compassion, ensuring that your message is clear without being detrimental to the recipient. By mastering these interpersonal dynamics, you create a supportive framework that empowers you to reach your most ambitious goals with the help of a dedicated community. The cultivation of meaningful bonds necessitates a deliberate investment of both time and energy, alongside a genuine eagerness to contribute to the lives of others. In our contemporary, high-speed existence, it is remarkably simple to overlook these connections in favor of pressing professional obligations. Yet, without consistent nourishment, even the most promising relationships can become superficial or vanish entirely. To preserve the vitality of your network, you must prioritize rhythmic engagement, which may involve organizing regular interactions with peers, providing assistance during difficult periods, or simply dedicating focused moments to shared experiences. Minor acts of consideration, such as a brief message of encouragement or a short coffee meeting, serve as powerful tools for maintaining the structural integrity of your social circle. Ultimately, investing in others is a clear demonstration that their well-being and aspirations are significant to you, fostering a culture of mutual commitment. Furthermore, the environment you inhabit is heavily influenced by the people who surround you, as they possess the power to either elevate your trajectory or hinder your progress. Consequently, it is vital to curate a circle of constructive, supportive individuals who inspire excellence and offer honest, expert feedback based on their own experiences. At the same time, you must have the courage to distance yourself from negative influences that deplete your vitality or obstruct your vision. This process often requires the establishment of firm boundaries or a reassessment of connections that no longer align with your personal evolution. Surrounding yourself with forward-thinking individuals creates a sanctuary where success is normalized, providing a framework of accountability that ensures you remain dedicated to your highest potential. Within this social architecture, the role of mentorship stands out as a uniquely transformative asset for both personal and professional growth. A mentor serves as a seasoned guide who possesses advanced expertise and is willing to transmit their wisdom to help you navigate the complexities of your journey. Such a relationship offers an invaluable perspective that can help you bypass common pitfalls, unlock hidden opportunities, and confront challenges with greater sophistication. Mentorship also serves as a catalyst for bold action, encouraging you to test your limits in ways you might not have attempted alone. It is important to remember that this is a collaborative exchange. As a participant, you must remain actively engaged, posing insightful questions and diligently applying the guidance you receive. By building these deep, instructive bonds, you significantly accelerate your arrival at your desired destination. Whereas traditional networking often occurred in physical spaces, the digital era has expanded the horizons of interpersonal connectivity. Online platforms and professional networks allow you to forge links with individuals across the globe, removing geographical barriers to your growth. However, the fundamental principles of integrity, respect, and clear communication remain just as critical in virtual interactions as they are in person. You should strive to engage meaningfully within digital communities, contributing genuine value rather than treating these connections as mere transactions. By approaching online relationships with the same intentionality and care as face-to-face encounters, you build a global support system that enhances your capacity for success in the modern age, developing visionary focus and internal command. Hence, we find that the ultimate foundation of enduring success is the synthesis of a profound long-term vision and the unwavering discipline to manifest it. While immediate targets and daily rituals are the mechanics of progress, they must be governed by a much larger purpose that defines your existence. This 8th chapter explores the creation of a visionary compass that guides you through the inevitable volatility of life. A long-term vision prevents you from making reactive, short-sighted decisions by providing a stable point of reference for every action you take. This mental image of your future self, projecting 5, 10, or 20 years ahead, should be expansive and deeply inspiring, reflecting your most authentic aspirations. It serves as the bedrock for your strategy, ensuring that you remain oriented toward your true north even when faced with temporary distractions. To refine this overarching vision, you must dedicate time to introspective reflection, examining your core values and the legacy you wish to leave behind. You might contemplate the specific type of character you intend to build or the unique impact you want to have on your industry and community. Once this vision is clearly articulated, documenting it and reviewing it regularly ensures that the big picture remains vivid in your mind during moments of daily struggle. This clarity transforms abstract dreams into a tangible destination, providing the psychological fuel necessary to persevere through the more mundane or difficult phases of your plan. Furthermore, the bridge between your current reality and that distant vision is constructed by aligning your short-term objectives with your ultimate purpose. Every minor goal you pursue must function as a stepping stone that leads directly toward your primary ambition. If your vision involves achieving a high level of professional mastery, your immediate tasks should focus on acquiring specialized skills, securing necessary resources, or expanding your influence within that field. By ensuring this alignment, you guarantee that every ounce of effort is purposeful and contributes to a cumulative effect. This strategic harmony keeps your motivation high, as you are able to perceive exactly how each small, disciplined movement brings you one step closer to the future you have envisioned for yourself. True discipline serves as the essential structure connecting your ultimate ambitions to your actual achievements. While possessing a grand long-term vision is vital, without the internal command to follow through, that vision remains a mere fantasy. Discipline is characterized by the capacity to maintain a sharp focus and unwavering consistency, especially when the initial surge of excitement evaporates, or when formidable obstacles emerge. It requires the establishment of a rigorous routine and the fortitude to persist through the inevitable trials that accompany any significant journey. It is fundamentally about executing the necessary labor even during moments when the desire to act is entirely absent. Whereas motivation is notoriously fleeting and dependent on mood, discipline acts as a constant engine that drives you forward on the most difficult days. To cultivate this strength, you must initiate habits that resonate with your overarching purpose, committing to a daily or weekly schedule regardless of your emotional state. Even when your internal drive is at its lowest point, concentrating on minor, productive actions will ensure you remain on the path toward your vision. Furthermore, a well-structured daily routine serves as the bedrock of your success, as the accumulation of your repetitive daily choices ultimately dictates whether you realize your long-term goals. A high-performance schedule is never the result of a happy accident. It requires intentionality, regularity, and a commitment to personal governance. You must begin by identifying the critical activities that bridge the gap between your current position and your future aspirations, whether that involves skill acquisition, deep work, or maintaining your physical vitality. Once these priorities are established, they should be woven into your calendar to reduce decision fatigue and minimize the risk of procrastination. For instance, if your long-term vision involves achieving mastery in a specific field, your daily rhythm should include dedicated hours for study, practice, and networking within that domain. By embedding these behaviors into your life, you ensure steady, incremental progress that builds a future you can be proud of. Maintaining a focused perspective on the big picture is essential for navigating the daily noise of modern life. It is remarkably easy to become submerged in the trivialities of electronic correspondence and social media alerts, yet peak performance requires you to prioritize what truly moves the needle. Implementing strategic time blocks for your most significant tasks, during which all digital notifications are silenced and your concentration is absolute, will drastically enhance your output. This level of immersion ensures that your energy is directed toward meaningful growth rather than being scattered across a dozen unimportant obligations. Regularly revisiting your written vision or engaging in visualization techniques helps to reignite your passion and reminds you of why the struggle is worthwhile. This persistent focus, combined with an understanding that greatness requires patience and the willingness to endure slow progress, ensures that your daily efforts eventually compound into monumental results. As we conclude this comprehensive strategic exploration for 2026, it is important to recognize that the pursuit of excellence is not defined by perfection, but by the relentless commitment to progress. Every phase we have discussed, from the formulation of a tactical blueprint and the cultivation of a dominant mindset to the mastery of emotions and the optimization of efficiency, provides a vital component of your success architecture. However, the most critical element remains your willingness to take immediate action. Plans and resources are merely potential energy. They only become kinetic through your daily execution. Success is rarely a linear trajectory. It is a voyage marked by peaks and valleys, requiring you to adapt your tactics while keeping your eyes fixed on the horizon. Your resilience in the face of disappointment is the true measure of your character, and your ability to return to your structure after a setback is what will ultimately separate you from the masses. Hence, we find that the next 365 days represent a unique opportunity to manifest your highest potential through the power of organized persistence. Discipline will be your most loyal ally, ensuring that you show up every single day to do the work that your future self will thank you for. This journey is a marathon of character rather than a sprint of enthusiasm, and while the pace of change may feel gradual, the cumulative impact of your consistency will be undeniable by the end of the year. This game plan is an adaptable guide designed to empower you to take total ownership of your destiny and build a life that is perfectly aligned with your deepest values. You possess the internal instruments and the strategic framework necessary to exceed your own expectations. Now is the moment to apply these principles, embrace every challenge as a teacher, and transform the next year into a legendary chapter of your life. The time for deliberation has passed. The era of execution begins now.